Nice.
Thank you, Chairman. Commissioner, thanks for being here. We're getting down to the lower dais, down to the last little bit. This is where the real work gets done.
It is.
And this is where we actually solve problems. And
We're just getting started.
yeah, just getting started. No, sincerely, I represent Ogden, Utah.
I know.
Right. Wonderfully strong workforce for the IRS. It's been, I've known it my whole life and have many colleagues and friends and everybody that have been there. I visited there as a member of Congress. I actually look at my time before Congress when I was a management consultant. And if I actually wish that I could be working on this project in that sphere instead of even in a congressional role, because to me it would be very simple. You have a bipartisan, strong agreement about modernization. And my colleague from Iowa just spoke a lot to it, so I won't rehash too much of it, but there's commitment there. And we should be doubling down, we should be tripling our efforts to make this happen. And at that point, we then assess what workforce needs are, right? And I opposed the Democrats' bill, IRA, that would have done a huge expansion. But then when we pulled it back, we wanted to keep the focus on the modernization piece. And then we reassess and we try to go about figuring out where the workforce needs to be. And that's the way I hope we can continue forward, finding the areas of common ground, because that's the only time you get anything done in this place is if there's common ground and we make moves in the right direction. My constituents, this is a pain point for them.
Yeah.
Your offices, we share the same federal building. When we reach out, we have an excellent relationship. So thank you again for that, and I echo what my friend from Georgia said. But this is an area we can actually improve on, and we need to double down on those efforts. So thanks for the comments you made on modernization and digitizing and getting this to that point. Members of this committee, have raised many important points on that. Can you discuss how the agency is truly prioritizing these initiatives? What is something you're immediately working on, something that you want to get accomplished that might be a few months to years down the road, but you could probably, we could maybe make it happen quicker if you get more collaboration from us. Concerned about the level of attention the IRS has placed on programs like the direct e-file program, which was not authorized by Congress. Could you share some thoughts on that?
Yeah, in terms of, we want to have big impact for taxpayers that benefit them. And so, I start with the call center. This is a place where there has been historic attention. I think a lot of taxpayers end up coming to the call center, hoping for a smooth and better experience. I think the call center certainly faltered in the 2022 tax season, and the changes we can make is not just about hiring additional phone assisters, it's about modernizing our call center. Because you look at call centers in other industries and around and in other public sector organizations, there are both AI and technology solutions that can make the whole operation operate more smoothly. And then I go to our web tools. We have online accounts now where individuals and businesses can register and have their own personal account with the IRS. And so think about it in terms of what that account functionality is today versus your experience with your online bank account. And we have a gap. There are certain things you can do with the IRS online account, but not nearly as much as you can do with your favorite bank online account. And the goal is to close that gap. Now, that is not just about fixing the website. There's the entire technology infrastructure underneath that also has to enable a more modern experience for taxpayers. That's where the focus should be. I think there should be a bipartisan agreement that we want to lean in to give taxpayers the tools to make this entire tax-paying process easier.
Excellent. I agree, and I believe that motivation is there, and we need to double those efforts. Regarding the employee retention tax credit, you saw the tax package that this committee just came together on to pass in overwhelming fashion. Can you give me a sense? I've heard from a lot of small businesses that are anxiously awaiting for their ERTC claims to be processed. How is the IRS working with reputable tax preparers in the greater tax community to ensure that these ERTC payments continue to be processed, the legitimate ones, and everything? There's a big backlog here.
There is. I get this question a lot. Work with your taxpayer, the taxpayer advocate. if you have a hardship, we're working with the taxpayer advocate to try to prioritize our significant inventory to those that face the biggest hardships. It's an unfortunate situation. The promoters and the marketers that essentially tricked a lot of small businesses that weren't eligible into applying have clogged the system. And we're working through it. I mentioned we're coming up on nearly $1 billion in ERC issuances that have occurred since we announced the moratorium. And most of that is working with the taxpayer advocate and Congress and others to prioritize those that are the most urgent because they're hardship cases. That doesn't mean they're going to get approved, because sometimes we work on it, we realize you're actually not eligible. But we're focused on it, and we're making sure they get resolution.
I got a request earlier today, so I may even be calling in myself. Thank you very much.
Yep.